What's good, YouTube? Daybreak748 coming back at you guys with a new video. Today, we are going to be asking the question whether or not you should be collecting and playing the game of Weiss Schwarz. Should you be just playing? If so, what does it have to offer? If you want to collect, what can you expect? All of these questions we'll be answering within this video. So right here, I have pretty much laid out everything that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be talking about the competitive side of Weiss Schwarz. I'm going to be talking about the not so competitive side of Weiss Schwarz when it comes to the actual gameplay. I'm going to be talking about the different rarities that you can expect and what you can do as a collector. So let's get started. So first, we're going to start with this side right here, the competitive aspect. When it comes to Weiss Schwarz, just like any other card game, you have lots of different, mechanics in the game of Weiss, but it's actually pretty darn straightforward. So if you watch a couple of videos on YouTube of just the gameplay aspect, and there's a ton of them out there, you will be able to get the gist of it pretty darn quickly. Most, if not all decks will kind of revolve around the same type of mechanic, so you get used to it very, very easily. Now, with that said, the competitive aspect, it's there. It's obviously there. It's just, if you want to go buck wild and build a $1,000 to $3,000 deck to bling out your deck with, for example, if you're making an Overlord deck. Overlord is kind of outdated, but whatever. Let's say you want to make a blinged out Overlord deck that's hyper competitive, etc. You could do so. It's going to cost you probably a liver and maybe another body part, but you can do it. It's going to be costly, but if that's the type of player / collector you are, that's something that you can do. If you're like, Daybreak, I don't have the funds and I can't really do that kind of stuff, well, Weiss has something actually quite nice. It has the waifu decks. As you can see, I have a silica deck here. This deck is solely silica build. Now, something to note about this, when it comes to these waifu / husbando decks, it's not that expensive. Now, you can make it expensive by getting the highest rarity of each card, but you don't have to. You can actually build a deck that's pretty affordable and still have a ton of fun playing against your friends. Now, another cool thing about the game of Weiss Schwarz is the fact that you do not need to pick up every single release. For example, Quintessential Quintuplets Season 2 is getting its own separate, I don't know if it's an extra booster or a Volume 2, doesn't matter. If you're not a fan of that franchise, ignore it. You don't need to buy it. Now, people from the Yu-Gi-Oh! / Pokemon / whatever other card game would be thinking to themselves, Daybreak, are you crazy? Like, if we don't buy the newest set, we're not going to be able to compete. No, that's actually the beauty of, or one of the beauties of Weiss Schwarz. You build the deck for the franchise that you enjoy. So if you liked, for example, Overlord, build a deck using the Overlord cards and you play with the Overlord cards. If you're a fan of Rascal Doesn't Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai, you build a deck around that. If you're not a fan of Sword Art Online, then obviously skip all the Sword Art Online booster boxes. It's that simple. And that gives a lot of people flexibility when it comes to deck building, when it comes to collecting, because you're not, so strong, caught and strung up on funds when it comes to having to stay up to date with the newest release. And I think that's a pretty cool thing. I remember when I played Yu-Gi-Oh! I would always buy the newest sets. Same thing with Magic, same thing with Pokemon, because the power creep is real. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes to the game of Weiss, there is power creep, but still, you can have a deck that you enjoy with the cards that you enjoy. Now, you might be like, but Daybreak, you can say that with all card games. You don't need to buy all the sets. That's true too. But when it comes to Weiss, you have to stick within your lane. So for example, if I wanted to build a deck with Mai and Kirito, you can't do it. They are not compatible. So you have to play within one franchise, which makes things a lot easier. So even if there is a power creep, but for example, you do like Overlord or you like Silica, you're going to have to stay within that lane. So it kind of forces your hand to stay there instead of having to invest in all the newest, latest, I guess, sets. So that's that. So hyper competitive people, there's something for you. For those of you guys who are just weebs and want to play with your waifus or husbandos, there's I guess, a side of Weiss for you as well. Okay, so now let's move on to the rarities, shall we? And this looks nice, so I'm going to keep it here for just a sec. So when it comes to rarities, you have the commons, the uncommons, you have the rares, the double Rs, the triple Rs, the SRs, the SPs, the SSPs, and the SECs. Now, if you as a collector just wanted to have a nice binder that showcases all the cards within a set, then you can do something that I do. If you check out my channel, you'll see that I have master collection sets, and that term, I guess that set of terms means different for different collectors. But for me, I'm poor. So now you might be like, David, you're not poor. If you have all these decks and you have all these SPs, you're not poor. No. Guys, I freaking started this collection, this, I guess, a game when it was pretty much at its infancy. When there was a time when on YouTube there was no Weiss content whatsoever. I started collecting at that point in time because I personally like the art. Like to see just my favorite characters in cardboard form. So when I started, I collected from the very beginning, and because of that, I was able to acquire some of these cards at that time when it was not as expensive. But with that said, what you're going to do is, well, for me, the Master Collection set just means all the cards numbered from serial number from 1 to the end, pretty much, not including any of the hollows. So I only collect the commons, uncommons, the rares, and the double Rs. That is what I consider my master set. Other people, they take that terminology, master set, and say, okay, no, Daybreak, I want to collect every single card. If that's the case, then it's going to cost you a pretty penny. But if you're okay with having a budget-friendly collection, then that's the route you could take. It's options. And I personally like it when, I guess, games give me options, you know? So, guys, I'm going to now pause the screen. And it's going to take literally a second for you. But for me, I'm going to move the decks out of the way. We're going to take a look at certain cards when it comes to the shiny cards. And we'll go from there. So give me a sec. All right, so we're back. So now, this binder right here that I have, these are just all of my super shiny cards that are not that expensive, but still on the more pricey side. Now, as you can see, these cards are very shiny. If you want to see what a double R usually looks like, let me show you. A double R, and I don't think my camera is going to even pick this up. See, double R. This is where you can see the rarity, right there. Double R. And double Rs have this glossy, I guess, finish to it, and has a little bit of hollow foiling. Nothing crazy. So my camera is not even catching this. So yeah, you can see the glossiness, and I know it's in a sleeve, but even without the sleeve, you can kind of see that glossy texturing. Now, like I was telling you, when it comes to deck building or collecting just the commons, uncommons, rares, and double Rs, you can do it for a very affordable price by just collecting those 4 things. And if you do so, you're going to have a pretty amazing collection when it comes to just a trip down memory lane. So I want to just showcase this. Same exact card, and just to prove it, take a look. They have the same exact set number. The only difference is at the end there's a double R. This one it says SP. So this one right here gonna cost you a pretty penny, probably like $100 or more. This one will probably cost you maybe, well, depending on the card, it could be 15 to 40. I guess it really depends on the scarcity, but it's nothing outlandish. So again, if you want to build a competitive deck with low rarity, you can, and it's not going to hurt you. When it comes to other card games, sometimes, like for example, Yu-Gi-Oh! When a card first comes out, or a set first comes out, and there's only one copy of it, it's usually the secret rares that are the most like expensive cards, and usually those are the very popular or the strong cards. Not all the time, some of them, but you know what I mean. When you need, if you need to build a deck and it needs that particular card, if you don't get that card in that rarity when it's first released, you're screwed. You have to pay an arm and a leg for them. When it comes to Weiss, the thing that I like about Weiss, again, is the options. You can have a very blinged out deck with all the SPs and all the high rarity, maxed out bling bling, or you can go with the low rarity and still be hyper competitive. And it comes out in the same exact set, so you don't need to wait for reprints. So that's pretty freaking bomb. So with that said, SRs are these types of cards, and I'll just take out some just to showcase. So some are nice and simple like this one. Beautiful looking card. Some other cards, we have a little bit more texturing just to prove it right there. Oh my god, look at that. I love that. I don't know, this flower pattern. Whew. And she looks good too. But anyways, but yeah, this is an SR. Very, very nice SR. Now, the triple R's are the next, I guess, rarity we should talk about. And you know what? Since we're at it, let me just show you some SRs when we, yeah, just going through memory lane. Now, the triple R's are usually climax cards. I don't think I've ever seen a triple R that's not a climax, but I could be mistaken. I might be forgetting something. But something like this. This is a triple R. It's a climax card like these that are foiled out, and just sometimes they have different artwork, but yeah, it looks so damn nice. Triple R's, 4 days right here, just to showcase some. So these, not bad. If you want to bling it out, you can. If not, again, they have regular versions of those cards, meaning less like, it's like common, uncommon, that kind of stuff, of this same exact card. Different artwork sometimes the same, but yeah, you can still afford to pick those up. All right, so with that said, now let's talk about the high-end collectibles. So if you're like Daybreak, I am that type of person. I want signed cards, baby. Signed cards is what I need. Okay, well, if that's the case, let me show you what you're getting yourselves into. So first, I'm going to show you the basic signed card. The basic signed card looks like this. Beautiful. It has the typical, your main character, whoever, has a lovely signature that's stamped on, has the SP on the bottom, and looks like this. These are extremely hard to pull. If you purchase, let's say, 8 booster boxes, you might get 1. So that's something to just keep in mind. SPs, yeah, they're very, very difficult to pull. Now, there's another type of SP, this one right here, but it's for you're going to see a T. Now, all that T represents is it means it came from a trial deck. Now, a trial deck, if you think about it in terms of like Yu-Gi-Oh, is just like those, what do you call those? Structure decks. It's a structure deck for that particular anime, and yes, you can pull an SP. This one right here, you can tell again by that T on the bottom left corner. This one right here is from the booster box, and how can you tell? Because there's no T. Very, very simple. So there you have it. Again, the trial deck SPs and the booster box SPs are quite difficult to pull, so keep that in mind. So don't get discouraged if you're not pulling them. If you have the funds, it might be better if you're just into those sign cards. It might be better for you to just buy them upright instead of wasting your money on booster boxes and luck. Because if your luck is terrible, well, you're screwed. You just wasted a ton of money and you might not get the SP that you want. Why? Because within a set, there's many different SPs. It's usually like 4 SPs, 5 SPs. So if there's one particular character you want the sign card for, it's better to just get it. Because you might be like, but Daybreak, it's like $400. Yeah, it's $400 that you're guaranteeing to get that card. If you pay $400 for booster packs, booster boxes, etc., and you don't pull any SPs, well, what's better? Take it or leave it, you know? So that's the SP for you. Moving on to the next type of rarity. We have the, the SSP. The SSP is a little different because it has this gold border around it. Same thing applies here. And the cool thing about SSPs, the signature stamp is a rainbow color, which I really like. This just looks so nice. Now, just giving you a heads up, most SPs, I said most, keyword is most, are cheaper than SSPs. SSPs are usually a little bit more expensive. Now, like I said, most, like for example, this is an SP. It's an SP of my favorite waifu, Rem. This comes from a trial deck. This card is more expensive than any of these two cards. So keep that in mind. There are exceptions, obviously, to the rule and such, but they are both beautiful, and it really just depends on your preference. I personally like them all, so I try to collect one of each for each character that I like, but it's up to you. Okay, moving on. There's another hyperfoily card, and it's called the SEC. The SEC, you can tell by this. This is usually in this bluish, metallic blue signature. You're going to still have the gold bordering, but you'll have that blue, metallic blue finish for this signature. Super nice still, super textured, looks absolutely gorgeous, but that's something to keep in mind. Again, prices vary a lot depending on the characters. Now, these are a little bit more, I guess, it really depends on the set. But for example, these two, if you take a look, this one is FBR. This one is SBR. Some sets have their own weird sub rarities. And if you are interested, you can get them. And again, they are signatured. They sometimes have quotes. They have just that, I guess, the, what's it called? The stamp of the signature or a quote. So that's there for you. And super foily, as you can see. It looks like an SP, but it's different rarity. So there you have it. So you have all of those options, guys. This is the reason why I like the game of Weiss Schwarz. When it comes to a card game, I like the fact that Weiss has options for you. Okay, to finish things off, you might be like, yeah, Daybreak, I get it, but, you know, I want to collect. I'm still not convinced. I don't know if just collecting the commons, uncommons is gonna do my collection any justice. Well, let me just showcase what I like to do. I'm gonna pull this back a little bit. Sorry, guys. Okay. Actually, let me pause. I'll be right back. All right. So now, if you were just still on the fence about the whole collecting commons, uncommons, rares, and double Rs, let me show you my binder. And if you like what you see, then try it. Buy your favorite set and try collecting and see how you feel. If you like what you see, then hey, you know it's for you. If you don't like what you see, then obviously you know right there and then. But here we go. This is one of my binders, and I call these my master sets. In here, what you will find is commons, uncommons, rares, double Rs, promo cards, and trial deck cards. So as you can see, it looks pretty freaking amazing. I personally love looking at these more than my higher end stuff. And it's because I don't feel so stressed about handling these cards, because these are just commons, uncommons, rares, and double Rs. Nothing too crazy. Remember that REM SP that I showcased while I was doing this? Well, that one costs over $1,000. So usually it's in a vault and I don't look at it until I get that thing encased or whatever. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Like, I take it out to look at it, obviously, but it's not something that I have at my desk at all times. So yeah, it's something to just keep in mind. These, I don't care. These are fine. I mean, of course I take good care of them, but I'm not too stressed. I'll sit there if I want to just kind of relax, go through memory lane. This is what I do. I pull these binders out and I just look. And you know what? Oftentimes when I look at these binders, it makes me appreciate that particular franchise some more. And it makes me want to rewatch. So for example, ReZero, this was before the second season came out, but I was looking through my Weiss Schwarz cards and I was like, my God, it's been a hot minute since I've seen ReZero. And so what did I do? I binge watched ReZero and it was just a hell of fun. So that is something that this, I guess, card game has that can really, really, I guess, make your day a lot better, you know? So that's just something to keep in mind. I'm not going to go through all of this, but yeah, you get what I mean. This is something that I personally enjoy. I personally looking at. I love collecting cardboard, and it's just so much fun. So guys, there you have it. I know this was a little bit longer video, but I get questions all the time about, hey Daybreak, what the heck is Weiss Schwarz? Or hey Daybreak, where do I even begin if I want to collect SP cards, etc. Yeah, there it is. Now, real quickly before I go, if you're interested in any cards when it comes to Weiss Schwarz, I get my booster boxes from AmiAmi.com. Pre-order them. Just end of story. If you're looking for English sets, there's Gold Star Collectibles. There are many face group, I guess, Weiss Schwarz communities. Just make sure you do your due diligence and check up on the seller first. And if you're looking for just singles like the SP cards, I would highly recommend face group pages or face group groups for Weiss Schwarz, because yeah, again, but be careful, PayPal, not friends and family, business, always. Even if you have to pay a fee, doesn't matter. But yeah, or you can use Yuyute, which is a Japanese service or a company that only ships to places within Japan. So you will need to use a middleman service. If you don't want to go that route, you will have to use eBay. So that's just that. There are other websites out there, and I'll probably make a different video for that. But with that said, thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to stop by and watch this video. I hope this video was somewhat beneficial to you all. And yeah, if you have any other questions, leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Peace out, everyone.